Hey everyone, and welcome back to Visions Beyond. I'm so glad you're here for today's deep dive
Yes.
into a topic that I think is really fascinating and pretty important these days.
Absolutely.
It's AI therapists.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to be looking at AI and mental health care,
Right.
specifically how it's being used to help people manage stress and anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And something we all struggle with.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
If you're listening to this, I guarantee you deal with stress and anxiety
At some point.
on a daily basis.
Everyone does.
So if you're interested in this topic, stay tuned because we're going to be going deep.
Yes.
And before I forget, don't forget to like and share and subscribe.
Yeah.
Tell us what you want to see next.
Yeah. Leave us a comment.
All right, so let's get into it.
Okay.
We're dissecting 3 sources today.
All right.
The first is Frontiers, Can AI Replace Psychotherapists? Exploring the future of mental health care.
Okay.
And the second is a PMC piece titled, Is AI the Future of Mental Health Care? And lastly, The Digital Mind, Navigating Mental Health with AI Therapists and Wearable Devices.
Okay.
So let's jump right in.
Yeah.
In today's world, with everything going on, who hasn't felt the, that pressure of stress,
Absolutely.
juggling work, family, and just trying to stay connected, it's a lot.
Yeah, it really is.
Our sources paint a pretty concerning picture of mental health these days.
Yeah.
The Digital Mind states that a whopping 80% of adults feel increased stress because of modern life.
Just because of modern life.
Yeah, and the World Health Organization estimates that anxiety disorders cost the global economy billions annually in lost productivity.
Wow, billions.
That's not just a personal struggle, it's a global economic hit.
It's a lot of money.
It is.
Yeah.
But, thankfully that's where AI steps in,
Yeah,
right?
that's what we're here to talk about.
Yeah, so both is AI the future of mental health care, and the Digital Mind suggests that AI could be a major player in supporting mental health.
Right.
So this tech is available 24/7. It can be tailored to an individual's needs. And it's also way less expensive than traditional therapy.
Yeah, more accessible.
Much more accessible.
Yeah.
And the Frontiers article highlights that the beauty of these AI therapists is their ability to use natural language processing and machine learning.
Oh, yeah.
So imagine a therapist that's constantly getting smarter with each session,
Yeah, getting to know you better.
picking up on your subtle cues and adapting their approach.
Right.
So we're not talking about generic advice here.
No.
We're talking about AI actually analyzing our words.
To give truly personalized support.
I remember when AI was mostly about, beating humans at chess, not helping them process emotions.
Yeah, it's come a long way, hasn't it?
Right.
Yeah, the Frontiers article actually takes us all the way back to the 1960s
Oh, wow.
with ELIZA, one of the first programs to simulate a conversation with a therapist.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And, compared to today's tech, it was basic,
I bet.
but it was definitely groundbreaking for its time. And it really laid the foundation for the much more complex systems we have now.
And speaking of complex systems,
Yeah.
ChatGPT,
The talk of the town, right?
I know everybody's talking about it.
It's everywhere.
From writing poems to coding websites, it seems like it can do it all.
Yeah.
And I think the potential for ChatGPT in mental health is especially interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
The PMC article and the Digital Mind both touch upon this.
They do.
So ChatGPT's strength lies in its ability to understand and generate human-like text,
Right.
which makes it really well suited for tasks that involve complex emotional processing.
Mm-hmm.
So while it's not a human therapist, it can offer support information
Yeah.
and even help people practice coping strategies.
Right.
So we've talked about AI therapists being able to talk to us, understand us, and even coach us.
Right.
But what about those wearable devices?
Oh, yeah.
The smartwatches and fitness trackers we hear so much about.
Yeah.
How do those fit into this whole picture?
Well, that's where things get even more interesting. The Digital Mind explains how wearables are constantly gathering data about our physical state.
Okay.
And this can provide really valuable insights into our mental well-being as well.
How so?
Well, think about it. Your heart rate,
Okay.
sleep patterns,
Mhm.
even your activity levels,
Right.
all of that can be like flashing warning signs for stress and anxiety.
I see. So if my smartwatch sees my heart rate spiking during a presentation,
Yeah.
it might suggest I take a few deep breaths or go for a walk to calm down.
Exactly.
Like a tiny little wristbound therapist.
Yeah, just reminding you to chill out.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and is AI the future of mental health care? shares a story
Oh, really?
where a sudden dip in physical activity as tracked by a smartwatch was actually an early warning sign for potential depression.
Wow. So that's not just the obvious stuff.
Yeah.
Even subtle changes in behavior that AI can pick up on.
Yeah, and connect the dots.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and what's really exciting is how these AI therapists and wearables can work together.
Mm.
So imagine combining the conversational skills of an AI therapist with the constant data stream from a wearable.
Right.
You get a really personalized and insightful picture of your mental health.
Okay, so it's not either or.
No, it's a team effort.
It's the team effort of AI and wearables that really makes a difference.
Absolutely.
I like that. So let me give you a scenario. Your wearable detects a spike in your stress levels over a few days.
Okay,
It relays that information to your AI therapist,
got it.
which then proactively suggests mindfulness exercises,
Oh, wow.
or maybe prompts you to connect with a human therapist.
So it's like a personalized support system.
Yeah, exactly.
Did only dream of this a few years ago.
Yeah, technology is really advancing.
That's incredible. It's like a digital pit crew
Yeah.
dedicated to keeping your mental health in top shape.
Yeah, keeping you running smoothly.
I love that analogy.
Yeah, and this isn't just some futuristic concept.
No, really?
No, there are already real-world examples of this integration in action.
Like what? Well, study. Mental health gets boost from AI, talks about XAIA.
XIA.
Yeah, a program developed by Cedars-Sinai.
Okay.
And imagine an AI avatar offering therapy in these relaxing virtual reality environments.
Oh, an AI therapist in VR?
Yeah.
That sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
But hold on, I can already hear the skeptics out there.
I know, right?
Can a bot really understand my feelings?
That's a good question.
Can it truly grasp what I'm going through?
A valid concern.
Yeah.
And Frontiers really explores this in detail.
Okay.
While AI doesn't experience emotions like humans do,
Right.
it can be remarkably good at understanding them
Okay.
through patterns in language and behavior.
I see.
And of course, all of that's backed by solid research.
So it's less about the AI feeling my emotions
Right.
and more about it recognizing the signs and responding in a helpful way.
Exactly.
I see, I see.
And here's a really interesting point from, is AI the future of mental health care? Psychiatrists are only slightly better than chance at predicting suicide attempts.
Really?
Yeah, but AI systems,
Okay.
with their massive data processing power, are showing more accuracy in predicting suicidal behavior.
Wow, that's really powerful.
Yeah, it is.
But wait a second.
Yeah.
With all this talk about AI analyzing my every move,
Mm-hmm.
what about data privacy?
Oh, yeah. A very important question.
This is some pretty sensitive stuff we're talking about.
Absolutely. And the digital mind stresses that data privacy is super important,
Okay.
especially when it comes to mental health information. So robust encryption, transparent data policies, and user control are all crucial to make sure your information is protected.
Okay, so it's all about finding that balance
Wait.
between using technology's power and safeguarding our personal information.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before we wrap up this first part of our deep dives, let's rewind
Yeah.
and see what's stuck with us so far.
Okay, so what jumps out at you?
For me, it's the incredible potential of AI therapists and wearable tech to revolutionize how we approach mental health.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen how they can make help more accessible,
Yeah,
provide personalized support, and even spot potential issues early on.
right.
It's like having a 247 mental health support team right in your pocket.
Yeah, in your pocket.
But I'm also curious about the potential downsides
Yeah.
and the ethical considerations
Right.
that we need to think about as these technologies become more integrated into our lives.
Yeah, that's a great point. So we'll definitely be diving deeper into those aspects in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, stay tuned.
Yes, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to our exploration of AI therapists and wearables.
Yeah, it's great to be back.
In part one, we uncovered how the mental health landscape is changing,
Yeah.
with technology playing a huge role in making support more accessible and effective.
Absolutely. But before we get too deep into that,
Right.
there's a question that I think might be on some people's minds.
Can we really rely on tech
Oh, yeah.
for something as personal as mental health support?
It's a good question.
I mean, we're talking about really human experiences.
Absolutely. And the digital mind actually suggests
Okay.
that AI therapists might actually help break down the stigma
Oh, really?
around seeking help in the first place.
Okay, how so?
Well, think about how intimidating it can be for someone struggling with anxiety or depression.
Yeah.
To actually walk into a therapist's office,
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
it can be really overwhelming.
It can be. There's a lot of vulnerability there.
Yeah, and then you have to find the right therapist.
Right. Book appointments.
Yeah.
Open up to a stranger.
It's a lot.
It is.
And that's where AI therapists can really make a difference.
Okay.
They offer anonymity,
Right.
24/7 availability, and often a more affordable option.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
So it can feel less intimidating to kind of open up to a bot,
Yeah.
especially in the early stages.
Right. Like you're just testing the waters.
Yeah.
You're dipping your toes in.
Dipping your toes in.
Before taking the plunge.
Right.
Yeah, I like that.
And research in the Frontiers article actually shows that people are often more candid and open with AI
Oh, wow.
compared to a human therapist.
Really?
Yeah, there's something about that non-judgmental nature of a machine
Right.
that makes people feel more comfortable
Makes sense.
sharing their thoughts and feelings.
We all have those thoughts that we'd never say out loud.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so even if it's just to a bot,
Yeah.
having that space to express those thoughts can be therapeutic.
Yeah, definitely.
So we talked about how AI can make help more accessible
Right.
and reduce stigma.
Yeah.
But what about the therapy itself?
Right. Can a bot really provide effective support for complex issues?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And it's something researchers are actively exploring.
Okay.
Is AI the future of mental health care? Highlights how AI therapists are already being used to support various conditions.
Like what?
Anxiety, depression,
Okay.
even PTSD.
Really? PTSD?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it's a serious condition.
It is.
Often requires years of therapy
Right.
with a trained professional.
Mhm.
But it's important to remember that AI therapists aren't designed to replace human therapists,
What?
especially in those complex cases.
Right.
But they can provide valuable additional support tools,
Yeah.
resources.
Right. So it's more about supplementing human therapy.
Supplementing, filling in the gaps.
Right. And making it more readily available,
Exactly.
especially for people who maybe don't have access to traditional care.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And as AI technology keeps advancing,
Yeah.
we can expect these systems to become even more sophisticated
Right.
and effective.
That's really exciting
It is exciting.
to think about the possibilities.
Yeah, definitely.
But in all this excitement about AI,
Yeah.
let's not forget about wearables.
Right?
We talked about them a little bit in part one,
We did.
but I want to dive a little deeper
Yeah, let's do it.
into how these gadgets can help manage stress and anxiety.
Okay.
So the digital mind describes wearables as having a mini health coach right on your wrist.
Right there on your wrist.
They're constantly collecting data about your physical state.
Yeah.
And we talked about this information can be so valuable,
Very valuable.
understanding mental well-being.
Yeah.
So like if my smartwatch sees my heart rate jump
Yeah.
every time I get an email from my boss,
Yeah.
it might suggest I take a few deep breaths
Yeah. Maybe go for a walk.
for a walk to calm down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what's even more impressive is that some wearables now have features specifically for mental health support.
Really? Like what?
Guided meditation sessions,
Okay.
mindfulness reminders, even mood tracking apps
So it's like a whole toolkit for managing stress.
right there on your wrist.
Amazing.
Yeah. And is AI the future of mental health care? Mentions how AI can analyze this data from wearables
Okay.
to identify patterns that could indicate potential mental health issues.
Oh, wow. So it's not just about those individual data points.
No.
It's about AI looking at all of this information over time.
Yeah, the big picture.
Right, like a detective for your mental health.
I love that analogy.
Right.
Yeah, a detective looking for those clues we might miss.
Exactly.
And that leads to the potential for early intervention.
Yeah, that's huge.
If AI can spot these patterns early, it can prompt users to seek help
Right.
or make lifestyle changes.
Right, like catching a cold in its early stages before it turns into the flu.
And that's where the integration of AI therapists and wearables is
Yeah.
really powerful.
So we have the conversational ability of AI to provide support and guidance,
Mm-hmm.
and then the data from the wearables to paint that more complete picture.
Yeah, it's like a whole team of digital helpers
That's awesome.
working behind the scenes.
Yeah, and as technology keeps evolving,
Oh, yeah.
it's incredible to think how much more sophisticated these systems will become.
Absolutely. And we talked about in part one,
Yeah.
there are already real-world examples.
Right, like XAIA.
Yeah, XAIA, the program from Cedars-Sinai, that blends AI-powered therapy with these immersive VR environments.
Yeah,
It's pretty mind-blowing.
it is. And to think we're just scratching the surface
Oh, yeah.
of what's possible.
We are.
Imagine a future where AI therapists can understand not just our words, but our facial expressions, our tone of voice,
Yeah.
even our body language.
It could create even more personalized support.
Exactly.
Ew,
It's
it-
amazing.
Now we're venturing into some serious sci-fi territory.
Oh, right.
But it raises a question. How much data is too much data?
That's the question.
Where do we draw the line between using tech to improve our lives
Yeah.
and AI knowing us better than we know ourselves?
It's a crucial question and one we need to think about carefully
Absolutely.
as we navigate this new world of digital mental health care.
Right. We need to make sure that privacy, autonomy, user control are all prioritized.
They're non-negotiable.
As these technologies continue to evolve,
It's a delicate balance,
it is.
but an essential one.
Absolutely.
If we want to harness the power of AI for good
Right.
while protecting our individual rights and freedoms.
It's about finding that balance.
Exactly.
And that's why we need to approach this topic with a critical eye. Ask the tough questions and make sure we're using technology responsibly and in a way that empowers people.
Yeah, like that.
And even with all the potential challenges,
Yeah.
it's hard not to be excited about the possibilities.
It is.
Imagine a future where mental health care is as accessible as checking your email
That would be amazing.
or tracking your steps.
We're on the verge of a whole new era
Yeah, we are.
of mental health support.
Where technology can play a really transformative role.
And this leads us to the big question.
The big one.
What does this all mean for the future of mental health care?
We're going to explore that in the final part of our deep dive.
Stay tuned.
We'll be right back to explore the long-term implications of all of this on the future of mental well-being.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been exploring AI therapists and wearables and how they're changing the game for mental health.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing stuff, right?
Absolutely. And now in this final part, we're going to zoom out
Okay.
and think about the big picture.
Sounds good.
So what might the long-term impact of these technologies be
Yeah.
on the future of mental health care?
Yeah, that's the big question.
It is, we talked about the good stuff,
Yeah.
better access, personalized support, early detection.
Mm-hmm.
But what about the potential downsides?
Right. The challenge
As
is-
these technologies become more and more intertwined with our lives.
Yeah, those are important to consider.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the digital mind brings up a big one.
Oh, yeah.
Data privacy.
Of course.
We're generating tons of data
So much data.
about our physical and mental states, and making sure that data is handled responsibly is critical.
Yeah, super important.
We talked about this before, but it's worth repeating: robust encryption,
Mm-hmm.
transparent data policies, and user control.
Yeah, those are essential.
These are all key to maintaining trust
Right.
and making sure sensitive information is protected.
Absolutely. And it's not just about preventing data breaches.
Right.
It's about respecting the privacy and autonomy of users.
Exactly. So beyond data privacy,
Yeah.
here's another question. Could AI systems potentially perpetuate existing biases?
Oh, that's an interesting one.
Because they're trained on these huge data sets.
Right. Massive amounts of data.
And if those data sets reflect biases that are already present in society,
Yeah.
those biases could end up being amplified in the AI's responses and recommendations.
That's a good point.
Right.
Okay.
So, for example, if an AI therapist is trained on data
Yeah.
that mainly comes from white middle-class individuals, it might not be as effective
Yeah.
in supporting people from different cultural backgrounds
Oh, I see what you're saying.
or socioeconomic
Oh,
groups.
yeah, that makes sense.
Is AI the future of mental health care? Talks about this very issue,
Okay.
and they emphasize the need for diverse and inclusive data sets.
Oh, yeah, of course.
When training AI systems,
That's crucial.
it's not just about fairness and equity.
Right.
It's about making sure that this AI-driven support
Yeah.
is actually effective for everyone.
Everyone, yeah.
Like, if you only hear one side of a story,
Exactly.
you're not getting the whole picture.
You're missing a lot of information.
And in mental health,
Mm-hmm.
that nuanced and culturally sensitive approach is so important.
Oh, absolutely.
And this brings us to another key point,
Okay.
the human element
Right.
of mental health care.
Yeah, we can't forget about that.
Even though AI therapists and wearables can be incredibly helpful,
Yeah.
they can't replace human empathy and connection.
Yeah, we all need that human touch.
Absolutely, that feeling of being understood and supported
Right.
by another person who really cares.
For sure. And Frontiers stresses the importance of collaboration
Oh, that's a good point.
between AI and human therapists,
Okay.
working together to provide the best possible care.
I like that. So AI can handle maybe some of the more routine tasks,
Yeah, like scheduling,
provide support right away,
immediate help.
and even flag potential issues
Yeah.
for a human therapist to address later.
It's like a team effort.
It's like having a whole team of supporters,
Right.
each one bringing something unique to the table.
Yeah. AI is the efficient
That's
assistant,
like a human therapist.
providing that deeper level of understanding
Exactly.
and guidance.
And this leads to a really interesting question.
Okay.
If an AI therapist can help you manage your stress, improve your sleep, maybe even prevent a mental health crisis,
Mm-hmm.
does it really matter
Yeah.
if it doesn't actually feel your emotions,
That's a good question.
right? Like if the outcome is positive,
Yeah.
if you're feeling better, if you're living a more fulfilling life, does it matter how you got there?
Yeah, it challenges our traditional ideas about therapy
It does.
and care.
We tend to think that mental health support has to be rooted in human connection.
Right.
But what if tech can offer something different?
Yeah.
Something based on data and algorithms and a deep understanding of how our minds work.
It makes you think.
It does. It's like we're expanding our definition of what it means to care for somebody.
Right. To support their well-being.
It's not just about sharing feelings anymore.
It's about taking action.
It's about taking practical steps to make our lives better.
Absolutely.
And if AI can help us do that, maybe that's a form of care in itself.
That's a fascinating way to look at it.
It is. It's a new way of thinking about things.
Yeah, and as these technologies keep developing, this is going to spark a lot of debate.
Oh, I'm sure it will.
But one thing seems pretty clear to me.
What's that?
The future of mental health care is going to be a blend of the human and the digital.
It's about finding that balance
Yeah, that sweet spot.
where technology supports human expertise,
Right.
where data and algorithms work alongside empathy and connection. It's about using every tool we have
Yeah.
to create a world where everyone has the support they need to truly thrive.
I love that. And as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay. I'm listening.
Embrace the possibilities, be mindful of the challenges, and never stop exploring new ways to care for yourself and others.
That is fantastic advice.
I try.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI therapists and wearable technology.
It's been my pleasure.
And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Visions Beyond and tell us what you want us to explore next.
Yes, we love hearing from you.
Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and take care.